So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a great day. I didn't have to go to work. I got to come here and hang out with these wonderful people.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with the head of digital for Cisco, this little company.
Yeah, you've heard of us.
Yeah, I've heard of you.
We're not the food one. We're the ones that bring you the internet. Yes, that one, that's Cisco.
Oh, I got to change all my questions now.
Yes.
So, we are here to talk about the past, present, and future of marketing.
Sure.
And you've seen a number of things throughout the years. I thought we'd start with, first of all, your past. And I want to cover all of your past, everything.
All of it, everything. Yes. I was born in Texas. Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh,
we
nice.
have other Texans. Grew up in Philadelphia. How does that? Any Philadelphians or Pennsylvanians at least? Okay, good. Thank you. We got a couple. Let's see. I've been working for, I just counted, it's almost 35 years, which is extraordinary to me. So the first 15 of my years or so, 13 of my years of working were pre-internet. So that was kind of cool. I was back in Philadelphia. I worked for the Prudential Insurance Company because I needed a job and I needed to move out of my parents' house, and that was the first place that said yes. And then I quickly moved to a technology company, and the technology company in Philadelphia at the time was Unisys Corporation, old mainframe company people might have heard of before. Sperry and Burroughs merged. It didn't take too long until the internet was born. And I was smart enough to realize that, number one, the internet was going to be a thing. It wasn't going to be a flash in the pan. And number two, it wasn't going to happen in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania as the center of the universe. So I moved myself and the family out, loaded up the truck, as they say, and moved to California and came to Silicon Valley. Went to work for Sun Microsystems, and then the dot-com bubble burst. Went to PeopleSoft for a while. Oracle and SAP fought over PeopleSoft. Oracle won. And I went to Oracle for a little while. I went then to SAP for about 8 years and ended up most recently at Cisco. I've been at Cisco for 2 years now. I've always been in marketing. I've been doing digital for the past 20 years, depending on what your definition of digital is. For us at Cisco, the role currently, my responsibilities are global. And it's web, mobile, social media, and video. So at Cisco, the web is Cisco.com, 85 country sites, 40 languages, intranet, internal employee collaboration platforms, et cetera. Social is public social media, plus blogs, plus customer communities and partner communities. Mobile is mobile apps and mobile web. We have about 90 customer-facing mobile apps. And video. Video is big at Cisco. You might be surprised. But we've got TV studios or broadcast studios all over the world. We're opening a new one in Bangalore tomorrow night, so I'll get to be up at 12:30, midnight.
You're going to fly there?
No. I'm just going to do it from here. We are very big on virtual. We have this thing called telepresence. Almost as good as teleportation, but not quite. But telepresence will take me to Bangalore. I'll participate in the grand opening from here and then go to bed. But we've got video studios here, Bangalore, London, et cetera, et cetera.
So I'm curious, how many people here, by show of hands, are in this thing called digital?
Good.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, 2/3 or something.
And because digital is such a big word.
Yeah.
Right, and you just went over, marketing is becoming pretty much digital. No surprise there. But what did surprise you? What surprised you in your career?
Number one, it surprised me. Number one, what surprised me was how fast it happened, and yet how far we have yet to go. Like, I'm still upset that I don't have my flying car and my robot assistant. I don't have either of those two things.
Hoverboards just came out.
Yes, by Lexus, right? But it hasn't really. So much more is left to be done. And yet, if I look back and I go, oh my gosh, I remember the days when there wasn't this thing, or when the internet was just starting and we were just trying to figure out how do you even construct a website, and what would the customer experience be, and how do people read or consume this thing. And then it moved from a simple website, a corporate website, which was essentially an electronic brochure, into e-commerce, and then e-business, and then Web 2.0, which became social media. And now we're talking about the Internet of Things, and at Cisco we talk about the Internet of Everything, where everything gets connected and talks to each other and inform our lives and make our lives richer. It's amazing to see how far we've come. Within all that, that dichotomy of things moved really fast, but yet there's so much further to go. This whole social media thing really caught my attention. I was unsuspecting of how fast the tools would be available to make it possible for all of us to be digital publishers, for all of us to share photography and video and text and blog and do all these things and to participate in real true community. Online communities can really feel like true communities where people are really tightly connected. So I'm really surprised by how fast that has taken off and how we went from broadcasting out from big powerful corporations or media organizations to everybody as a publisher. Every individual can be a broadcaster and a publisher and can shape opinion and can enable and inform.
So it's interesting because things have disrupted. We're speaking in the present, not just literally, but actually as part of our presentation, and looking at it metaphorically. Thank you.
Yes.
So as we're looking at it, I mean, everything right now has changed, even as of lately, with video streaming services. I think Meerkat was speaking here. Yep. We have Periscope, Blab. I am is somewhere in here in the audience. We've got all these different streaming things going on. You guys are obviously an underlying video network as well under that. In what you're helping to build there. How do you keep up? How do you scale? Not just, and I don't mean networking wise, like on the marketing side, how are you scaling for all of these little disruptions that are happening, and are you allowing it at your company?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody and everybody at Cisco is invited to be participating in social media. Cisco is one of those companies that is very much encourages people to participate. That's one way we scale, because really underlying, you need people to be skilled properly. They need to know, can I do this? How do I do it? What are the best practices? How do I participate in this whole digital revolution or transformation? And so skills are a big area for us. Enabling people through policies as well is also important. We have centers of excellence, so my team doesn't do all of the digital within Cisco. We act as a center of excellence, and so we might lead the web strategy and the social media strategy and the video and even the mobile strategy, but we don't do it all. Even, I'll give you mobile apps. I mentioned that we have 90 or so mobile apps, customer-facing and partner-facing. Cut that in half, because half on one operating system, half on the other. We might have 45. A whole bunch of those are product-oriented, like WebEx or something else that might be connected, an extension of a product. But all these other mobile apps, we don't produce them all, my team. Multiple teams produce these different mobile apps, but they come through my team and a group of actually distributed stakeholders that approve it to go onto the App Store. So we're kind of the last quality control to make sure that everything's kosher before it goes. Because we couldn't possibly produce all that stuff. And you wouldn't want to give it all to us anyway, because we don't have the expertise. You need distributed expertise. Similar thing with social media. I think probably most companies here, there isn't a single group, central group that does all social media. It's essentially an enabler, an information collector, a best practices organizer within a company, and then it's distributed people who are doing the actual social media channel management, and listening, and response, and all the other things that happen. So those are the kinds of things that we enable within the team, is how do we take some core expertise, push it out to the rest of the organization through policies and practices and skills and tools, and enable the rest of the organization to participate. So
when somebody says, I need an app, you always say, at Cisco, we have an app for that.
There you go.
With 90 apps,
Yep.
That's a lot. That was a joke, by the way. Sorry. So
I got it.
So how do you keep your finger on the pulse with all of that?
We're constantly, there's the whole listening through social media. That's one. You meaning me personally, or us as a company?
You personally, in your position, how do you keep your finger on the pulse?
I follow lots of important people and interesting people and people from diverse backgrounds. I'm giving a talk at Cisco in a couple days, I think it's on Wednesday, about continuous learning through the exploration of curiosity. Because I don't really like taking classes and courses. I don't really care about the fancy initials behind your name, like an MBA or a PhD or something like that. If people have those, that's cool, that's wonderful. That's not the way that I really learn. So I learn by listening to lots of other people, interesting people, curate news for me. So I listen to them through social media. I'm listening for what do some of the experts have to say. They might be official reporters and pundits and so forth who have some expertise in a particular topic. But in other cases, it's people like me. I'm listening to CMOs or digital leaders or people who are working in the functions, talking about what's interesting to them. And by curating that news, I get the right information flooded toward me.
So you work in obviously business to business, and you're looking at community development as well, and how
Yes.
you build your communities, and that's something that you've done almost your entire career leading up to this. How do you use now community development as opposed to 5 years ago, and where do you see that going?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing you raise is business to business. I think B2B companies have an advantage on building community and affiliation and affinity for their brands, in part because over B2C companies, in part because the purchase price is usually higher, the relationship is longer, the purchase decision-making process takes a longer time, the stakeholders are different, et cetera. You're essentially betting your career in a lot of cases when you're making a B2B decision versus which candy bar, which soda, which whatever I'm going to buy as a consumer. The other, though, is that people are buying from each other. So in some ways, it doesn't matter if it's B2B or B2C. It matters that we're selling to people. We're talking to people. We're trying to forge relationships with people, also known as humans. So somebody wrote a book called Human to Human, H to H.
I heard it was a good book.
It's a good book. Anyway, the communities are all about connecting people to each other so that they can help each other. It's one of the things that I find most exciting about this whole digital world, and maybe it's Web 2.0 or social media or the sharing economy, we might call it, but it's people are helping each other in these online communities, which I find extraordinary, and with really expecting nothing in return. I'm going to pay it forward with the expectation that someday in the future I might need some help from somebody and somebody will step up and help me. We're trying to create that with businesses, and there are great examples of success. My old company, SAP, where I was before Cisco, we had an online community of 3 million members. And these people were very active, and they were very vocal about what they wanted from us, the company, and they would help each other, and they would gang up on each other or on us, and they really caused change in the marketplace and within the company. At Cisco, we're trying to build the same thing. We're trying to build this really tightly connected community where the community members are connected to each other and helping each other to be successful, but are also influencing us. So we're listening to them about what products we should build, what features we should include in the next version of those products, all those sorts of things. And that's where I think community has a great potential.
Is there a direct correlation with is there ROI? Can you see ROI coming from the community?
Absolutely. The easy ROI is cost avoidance. So if you think tech support within a big company like ours, or like SAP, the cost avoidance, the call avoidance is tremendous. At Cisco, I won't speak for SAP anymore, but at Cisco, it's in the tens of millions of dollars of cost savings that then get either passed back to our customers in lower prices and or get passed to our shareholders in better share prices and profitability. So that's one, but that's the very first thing, is you go after efficiency. The next is, are those individuals in that community recommending to each other to buy, right? The early adopters recommending to the next phase of adopters, and we see that happening a great deal. There's even the sort of brand defense. If you're in the marketing world and you care about brand value or brand reputation and so forth, there is the defense by customers of the brand as opposed to the brand trying to defend itself. That happens all the time in communities where somebody will have a poor experience and complain about it, and other people jump in and say, I think that was an anomaly because that's not the way I get treated, and I think that somebody must have just had a bad day, or can we help you through this, or whatever it happens to be. So there's there's even value there that's a little bit intangible, but is brand value.
So let's go into the future.
Okay.
Where do you see it heading? What do you think is going to surprise? What will surprise us?
Well, I think everybody already knows mobile. Mobile is the big thing, right? So I won't beat that dead horse. Mobile is happening. It's ramping up. Mobile is coming. The next one is video. Video is the next mobile. So bandwidth has improved. You're welcome. And so now everybody can do video, and you don't have to sit there and wait for the thing to download and it doesn't get all pixelated. No, everybody can do video. And so that's going to be one. So we have to watch for that. I see marketing and sales converging a bit, where you're going to see a blurring of the lines between marketing and sales, because I think even in big companies like mine, where you need, in many cases, customers need the assistance of a professional salesperson to kind of walk them through the journey, because it's so complex and the products are so complex and so diverse. I think about 20% of sales at some point in the future, Cisco's not going to need sales reps for it. We're all going to be able to do it ourselves. And I think the less complex products, a higher percentage will just be simply self-service, self-purchase. I don't really need a sales rep. Don't want to talk to one. I don't need a sales rep really to buy a car anymore. I know what I want. So I think a convergence of those two things. I think the pace continues to accelerate. The pace of change continues to accelerate and ramp up. So I think we're all going to be exhausted from trying to run to keep up, and we're going to have to find new ways to work. Those are some of the things that I start to see in the future. From the customer viewpoint, I think that's an important one to note. We're all moving toward data-driven decisions to understand our customers better, with the goal to be that we can be completely personalized in our approach to customers. So I don't have to publish a website. I can publish 600 websites, one for each individual in the room, and everyone will get a unique experience, because I will know enough about each one of you as an individual, and I will be pulling in data that I collect and data from Dun & Bradstreet or Zillow or your zip code or your high school transcripts or whatever it happens to be. I'm going to be pulling in data to know about you so that I can serve you personalized content, and it'll be 100% personalized.
I was traveling. I was speaking at a conference, and I really nice people. So nice that when I got into my hotel room, I laid down on the bed and I was looking over to the left on the bedstand, and there's a picture of my family sitting there.
Wow.
So that kind of personalization is around the corner, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it might get a little creepy, but as long as you're okay with it. I can think of some times when that wouldn't be a good thing, but I think you're safe.
And that's a wrap. Thank you, guys. Oh, they really wanted to stand.
No, they don't. They love it.
They like it.
Yeah.
So actually, let's try to finish this out on the future marketing. When you talk.
No, actually, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll pull us back into reality. I think we are giving up lots of information about ourselves in return for something, in return for personalized service, in return for better service, in return for free, whatever it happens to be, Facebook or Twitter or something, access. We're going to keep giving up information because we're going to keep getting value. Now, at the point when it starts to get creepy sometimes, when big companies, and we have this big brother issue, when big companies we feel know too much about us, and don't treat that information in the way that we expect it. Like, treat it with kid gloves, treat it with respect, because I'm giving this up. I'm giving something up in return for something. I think the personalization is going to be the big next thing that happens, because the platforms can now do it, the publishing platforms that we run our websites and mobile apps and et cetera on. The big data is happening. Big data is one of the things that's going to drive this. Content can come from all over the place, and we can do distributed content. It just all aggregates around that one individual. And that's where personalization is going to be really extraordinary.
Yeah, I don't think that everyone has time in any company to actually dig out one person and say, "This is we know so much about you." So there's too much to do, and a lot coming that we need to do to invest and embed what you're talking about, which is a little bit of artificial intelligence into these systems to be able to do personalization on the right way and make that happen. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be an exciting future. It's been a wonderful past. It is an extraordinary time to be working right now. I know a lot of people are doing digital, and it's an extraordinary time. We are establishing the foundation for generations to come. The work that we are all doing together is setting a pace for our children and our grandchildren, perhaps, and the future is really going to be amazing. And it's exciting to be part of building that.
That is. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bryan.
Cheers.